Good evening. Welcome to the St. Vincent de Paul Blue Dress event. My name is Diane Irvine, and I'm honored to be your host tonight. Tonight marks the 8th year of the Blue Dress event, our first ever live-streamed event. In past years, we have been very grateful to hold our event at Seattle University, but last year we had to cancel our plans due to COVID and we weren't able to be together. So we're honored to have you with us tonight. Did you know that last year was the 100th anniversary of St. Vincent de Paul, Seattle, King County? So tonight we celebrate the centennial plus 1 year, 101 years of St. Vincent de Paul serving those in need in our communities. We look forward to being together in person next year. How did the Blue Dress event evolve, and why is it the blue dress? Blue signifies trust and friendship. These are the values that the Vincentians, all the volunteers, share, the volunteers who work with those needing help in our region. Dress represents the programs and services that support individuals and families towards achieving self-sufficiency, employment, and dignity. So the blue dress really represents the network of care, our coming together as a community. We will open with a video message from Father Stephen Sundborg, President of Seattle University, and a prayer.
President of Seattle University, and especially in this, my very last year, I'm pleased to welcome you to the Blue Dress event of the St. Vincent de Paul Society. We've come together so many years in Campion Ballroom on the Seattle University campus. It's good to be together again this year in a different way and to continue this tradition. We gather because we all believe in what the St. Vincent de Paul Society does day in and day out for the poor, reaching into their lives with consideration and respect, learning what help they need to live humane lives of decency. We also are gathered together because we are inspired by the lives of faith, which impels this presence with the service to the poor. They live out their faith serving the best friends of Jesus Christ. Thank you for joining together with other friends on the St. Vincent de Paul Day. Let me now invite us to enter into our Blue Dress event with prayer.
Creator God, your image is alive in every human person, giving to each of us an inviolable dignity. Create in us a desire to act in solidarity, the ability to work together, and a willingness to share with others our time, our energy, our skills and talents, and our wealth. As we share and enjoy the fruits of your creation, restore in us your vision of a world made whole, and inspire us to commit ourselves to the common good. Gracious God, give us ears to hear, eyes to see, and hearts to love, so that we reflect you in our way of life and in our choices, words, and actions. Jesus is the good news to the poor. As his followers, may we recognize the call to be the same. Amen. Thank you, Father Sundborg, for all of your support of St. Vincent de Paul. Father Sundborg, as you may know, is retiring after 24 years as president of Seattle University, its longest-serving president. He leaves an amazing legacy at Seattle University. I was honored to be asked to participate in this year's event. I've attended the Blue Dress event in past years, and I've been so inspired by all of the good work that is done in our community by St. Vincent de Paul. On a personal note, I have great memories of seeing St. Vincent de Paul in action through my family in Chicago, which is where I grew up. After college, when I was working in Chicago, I often stayed with an aunt and uncle who lived in a suburb of Buffalo Grove, Illinois. And my uncle Leroy, who is my dad's brother, was the head of the St. Vincent de Paul Society at his parish, St. Mary's Parish. I recall many late nights when my uncle would receive a call from a family that needed some place to stay, needed food or furniture, needed some type of help. And I recall my uncle sitting at the kitchen table talking on the telephone, and then leaving to meet with someone who needed help. So when I was asked to participate tonight, I really felt that my dad and my uncle were sending me a message from heaven, so here I am. We all have our reasons to support St. Vincent de Paul, and we're here this evening to provide our financial support to allow St. Vincent de Paul to continue helping our neighbors in need and to make a difference in the lives of those who are helped. We're here to come together for St. Vincent de Paul and its network of care, the good work, the helping hand that is there for neighbors every single day. So please join us for a fun evening. Pull up a chair, enjoy your dinner or dessert, perhaps a glass of wine or your drink of choice. It's the community and all of you who are with us tonight that makes St. Vincent de Paul so special. We'd love to hear from you this evening, so please send us a note in the YouTube chat to let us know you're with us. Tell us where you're joining us from, maybe what parish you belong to, and why St. Vincent de Paul is special to you. We may mention some of your comments during tonight's program, and we're so glad that you're joining us. In tonight's program, you'll have a chance to hear from someone who has been helped and touched by St. Vincent de Paul programs. We'll hear from the Executive Director, Miria Munoz Roach, and we'll see much of the amazing work that is done by St. Vincent de Paul in its network of care. I think you will be touched and inspired by all of the assistance provided to neighbors that you'll see tonight and which continued during COVID when there was more help needed than ever. And of course, we'd like to hear from you in the chat. I invite you now to watch the story of a special man, Douglas, who has benefited directly from St. Vincent de Paul.
Doing magic was an escape for me, and to be able to connect with people and to leave them smiling and feeling their joy always did give me more hope. I was enjoying a beautiful life. It was very productive, very successful. I was gliding through on top of the world. I felt great about everything I was doing. I was enjoying a career in real estate. One of the top producers in my office. I took a large advance from a commission company based on the sale of a couple $1 million home. The deal fell apart in the 11th hour, and I spent the entire year paying back that loan. I was very much in debt. I ended up becoming homeless.
There's so many people that are struggling with finances, and they're living month to month, or they have a shortfall for several months, and then all of a sudden they're facing eviction. Once they get into homelessness, it's almost impossible to get them out. Douglas at the time was really in the throes of some depression and some illness.
So that was the beginning of a 2-month stay in a homeless shelter. So I go there with the intention, okay, it's just for one night. Well, that night it just poured rain. I just didn't know what to do. I looked for help, and the first one to reach out and the first one to be consistent and really be there for me was St. Vincent de Paul.
Douglas' story is truly a reminder that at any time, any of us can encounter a situation that takes our life in a different direction, unexpected, leaving us desperate, hoping for someone to step in and help. For Douglas, that was St. Vincent de Paul.
Beautiful summer day, July 30th, about 5:30 in the afternoon. I'm looking around Pioneer Square. There's people dressed in their summer clothes, sitting in sidewalk cafes, music coming, happy hour, everyone having fun and smiling. And I'm in line to get into a homeless shelter. My idea of being homeless would mean you've got a drug problem, you don't have a life, you've got mental issues that need to be dealt with, and that's why I always have had compassion for people. But now I'm in the streets as one of them. I made a mistake, I made a mistake in how quickly it could be taken from me. My case manager from St. Vincent was staying in touch with me every day to make sure I was following through on the resources available. If she hadn't been there, I wouldn't have seen these things. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere because I was in such despair I couldn't see anything positive happening in my life. My case manager kept saying, think of this as you're making a jigsaw puzzle. Each day you put a little piece together, a little piece together, a little piece together, and it's going to lead somewhere. So I kept taking her advice and going to this, different resources for support. And like she promised, eventually I get this phone call out of nowhere. And they said, how would you like another place to live?
We see neighbors every day at the brink of homelessness. The story of Douglas is so timely because now, with everything that's going on, we are seeing more and more people who we call the working poor, who live paycheck to paycheck, knocking at the doors of our food bank in Seattle, asking for help. And those numbers are growing. It's staggering. It's 20% at our helpline, more requests for food across the county. So the need is great and growing.
Here we help people one person at a time, and we know it's effective for that person. I wish I could make a bigger difference, but I can make a difference to that one. And sometimes that's the most important thing. You told me, please don't let my magic go. Please don't let them take it. So
Yeah.
we made a real effort. When we went in, people said, well, what's this and what's this? Wait, does he need that? And I said, that's his magic stuff. We have to take that.
I know.
We have to take his magic.
I felt this whole team of people knowing who I am and knowing that I was homeless, and yet they were still reaching out to help me and support me. I got to see a side of human nature that I was missing before. I got food, clothing, I've got a warm place to sleep, and if it wasn't for this, I'd still be on the street. The jigsaw was put together. The pieces did fall into place. St. Vincent de Paul did not give up on me.
You can see the inspirational work that is done at St. Vincent de Paul. We wanted to give you an update on Douglas. He is housed and moving forward. And I think we have some photos showing Douglas visiting some of the St. Vincent de Paul stores last year and performing his magic. And this was happening pre-COVID. And I think it's just so amazing to listen to Douglas's story and to realize that we're helping people in our communities every single day and changing their lives. So Douglas, thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for sharing your gifts with so many people. I would now like to introduce you to the Executive Director of St. Vincent de Paul of Seattle, King County, Miria Munoz Roach. Miria has been with St. Vincent de Paul since 2012, and she took on the Executive Director role in the fall of 2019. So shortly after she took over this role, of course, COVID came upon us, and she kept the organization operating and providing help to our communities throughout. And she realized the importance there, and they never stopped working. So please join me in welcoming Miria.
Thank you, Diane. And welcome to all of you who are joining us from your computer devices at home or at work. Bienvenidos a todos. Tonight is a very special night for all of us. The annual Blue Dress event gives us an opportunity to pause and reflect on all that we have accomplished together this year. It also gives us the opportunity during these hard times. Your generosity, zeal for our mission, compassion, and care has made a significant impact in the lives of the hundreds of families we visit with every day. Individuals from across every neighborhood in King County who call St. Vincent de Paul seeking financial support, but also a loving, caring, listening ear who can hold them up as they struggle to navigate multiple complex systems, debilitating health at times, depression, isolation, and more recently, the economic impact of the global pandemic. Businesses had to close down, including our thrift stores, causing a negative impact to our bottom line. For many, this pandemic also meant loss of income for their families, loss of jobs, loss of loved ones. It also widened the gap between those of us who have the means to work remotely or stay at home with our kids while schools were closed, and those families for whom one income is not sufficient and without childcare and schools closed could not afford their rent. For the single working mother working in the restaurant industry who lost her job due to the closing of businesses and could not afford her rent, who called our St. Vincent de Paul helpline asking what she should do. She did not have enough money to pay for both rent and food and was asking for help from St. Vincent de Paul to just try to decide, figure out whether she should pay partially for her rent or buy food for her family. This type of St. Vincent de Paul response on the ground with families we see every day gives our staff and volunteers a real awakening and a reason to keep on keeping on. As one of our staff so eloquently put it, it's been a hard year for us on the front lines of Central Rendu and our food bank. We see the need every day in our community. We can't give up. We can't lose hope. For us to lose hope or give up or walk away would be devastating because the community counts on St. Vincent de Paul, our steadfast support and our help. Hope is all they have to survive, she said. We need to keep our doors open. We can feed them, listen to them, and provide that much needed hope. It has been a hard year, indeed, for everyone, and our vulnerability has united us in our humanity. Tonight, we come together to celebrate our common bond of love and support for St. Vincent de Paul. Together, we make up the St. Vincent de Paul network of care. Because of your generosity and the resilient Vincentian spirit of compassion, we doubled down our efforts, and in the last year, we were able to keep our food bank open, serving hundreds of individuals and families experiencing food insecurity. We extended our food bank services into South King County and brought food to highly disproportional areas of need. Our Central Rendu Latino program thrived and responded to the call of many immigrant families who were on the edge of hunger and in need of rent assistance. We were recruited by Pierce County Tacoma officials to create a new Central Rendu program presence to serve the growing needs within Pierce County. We worked with schools to assist in closing the technology gap for poor and immigrant families. We increased our case management support to veterans, young mothers, individuals in and at the brink of homelessness. We continue to deepen our relationship with Catholic schools with our Parent Ambassadors program that extends across counties to grow parent engagement and leadership in mission. We supported the county in the implementation of the lottery program by providing $3 million in rent assistance last winter. Our Community Connectors program continues to make the necessary connections to resources for our food bank visitors and neighbors experiencing homelessness. We reopened the St. Edward's Conference in Seattle with the full backing of the priest, and we started a new bilingual Latino-led conference at St. Thomas in Tukwila with the support of the pastor. We have effectively implemented online trainings to support our Vincentian vital work. We launched our monthly Zoom gatherings to help stay abreast of new COVID-related resources, as well as provide a virtual space to support and listen to each other's needs and challenges in our mission work. This last fall, we also launched the Rendu Orientation, a new training on the spirituality of the home visit with adaptations for our COVID realities. In the past 4 months, we have given close to $500,000 in in-kind goods to our neighbors in need. And in the last 12 months, close to 1 million pounds of food. We updated our website to better support fundraising efforts by conferences while parishes were closed. We have strengthened our partnerships across the region. At no time did St. Vincent de Paul stop providing services and generating new and creative ways to respond to the staggering increase in need. We have expanded our work and continue to deliver. Even during this time of social paralysis, we have found a way to continue to serve the people of our county, and the way that we have been able to continue to provide the services to our community is by the generous hearts and the kindness of all of you, good people. During this profoundly challenging time, it is because of you that we have been able to accomplish so much. To our donors and supporters here tonight, thank you for being a vital member of our indispensable network of care. Thank you.
Thank you, Miria. You are such an inspiration. As I've gotten to know Miria in the past several weeks leading up to this event, I have seen that she is a leader who is spirited, determined, and fierce. I think we're very lucky to have her. Her passion for the work of St. Vincent de Paul is evident in what she does every day. And Miria, your words are certain to inspire all of us to give tonight. Miria speaks about how through the work of St. Vincent de Paul, hope is born in the lives of people who are going through hardship. Hope is born in the home visits and the listening that take place. Hope is provided through the network of care. It's the love and the hope that really lift all of us up, and I think that's very powerful. We're here tonight to make sure that we continue to support people like Douglas and the tens of thousands of people who are helped each year by St. Vincent de Paul. We can't do this without you, our amazing donors. I'd like to thank the wonderful sponsors of tonight's event, the Kennedy Reese Family Foundation, Providence St. Joseph Health, Lakeside Industries, Hanson Brothers Transfer and Storage, Neighbor Care Health, Downtown Emergency Service Center, and Island Security Systems. We'd also like to thank and recognize our faithful donors, Teresa Gallant, Ed and Edie Wartell, Patrick and Mary Welch, Susan Wyckoff, Martin Family Foundation, Joe and Terry Beatty, Patrick and Molly Gemma, Steve and Tricia Trainer, James Deagle and Jeannie Berwick, and Doug Irvine. Thank you to all of you. Now let's get to the important part of the evening. At this time, we turn to you, our wonderful supporters. We want to make sure that the services of St. Vincent de Paul are available to all in our communities who need a helping hand, who need someone to listen, who need our caring and compassion. Our fundraising goal for this evening is $300,000. You may have started the night with a specific dollar amount in mind, and we hope after hearing the story of Douglas and hearing from Miria, you'll consider a bit more so St. Vincent de Paul can continue to expand its network of care. Your donations make a critical impact in the community. You make the network of care. Now here's how you can donate. Grab your phones and text the words blue dress to this phone number, 844-998-3508. If you have another screen, a second device, a phone or a tablet, you can also donate on the St. Vincent de Paul website. Go to svdpseattle.org and click on the button that says Give Today, or click on the button that says Blue Dress, and then use the Donate to Blue Dress button. As an added incentive for your giving, All donations of $500 or more will be matched, thanks to some very generous and compassionate donors. So please think about Douglas and all the neighbors who will be helped by St. Vincent de Paul. We cannot do this without you, our supporters and donors. Help St. Vincent de Paul help our neighbors through your giving. So again, text Blue Dress to 844-998-3508. I'd like to remind you also to send us some messages in the YouTube chat. I understand there's some great interaction going on this evening with Ty Jackson. I'd like to introduce her to you. Ty is the communications coordinator at St. Vincent de Paul, and she is here tonight chatting with all of you who have joined. So Ty, tell us who you're hearing from this evening.
Thanks, Diane. We're super excited to see so many of you joining us this night. We have Riley from Seattle, Roberto from Renton, Teresa from Mongolia, Mike and Peggy from Palm Springs, and so many more. We also want to shout out all of our staff members who's joining us tonight. We have members from Central Rendu, our thrift stores, administrative team, warehouse, our food bank crew, case managers, our helpline team, and our board members. If you haven't already, feel free to donate and leave your name and the city that you're joining us from tonight in the chat. The donation information is in the chat as well. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you, Ty. Now I welcome all of you to watch a video that shows more of the work of St. Vincent de Paul, and after the video, we'll provide an update on our giving tonight.
For over 100 years, the Society of St. Vincent de Paul of Seattle, King County has been there for our neighbors. When someone finds themselves struggling, they know who they can trust to call for help. Our helpline staff is ready to listen and connect neighbors who call for help with other neighbors in their community who are members of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. These volunteers, called Vincentians, are found across the county in parishes and neighborhoods, ready to serve with compassion, love, and mercy. They are the heart of our network of care. Vincentians visit neighbors in pairs, bringing with them a tuned ear to listen fully to our neighbor's story, restoring dignity, and meeting basic needs. When Vincentians meet neighbors on their doorstep, trust is built and hope is born. When our neighbors experience greater challenges, Vincentians can make a referral to caring professional case managers that are also a central part of our network of care. At St. Vincent de Paul, trained case managers work with Vincentian volunteers to help our neighbors with specialized needs. By building individual case plans and working together with patience, trust, and respect, neighbors are raised up while empowerment and self-sufficiency grow. Our Centro Rendu program works with Latino families so they can finish school, learn English, and build a stable future. In our network of care, our thrift stores help provide goods to neighbors being helped by Vincentians, as well as by our case managers. The stores also house our social service programs. Our Georgetown Food Bank relies on volunteers, donated food, and cash contributions to make wholesome food available to our neighbors. Generous people like you support this solid and expansive network of care. Because of you, St. Vincent de Paul can make a difference in the lives of neighbors seeking support in our network of care. Join us today.
Well, you can see the many services that are provided by St. Vincent de Paul to neighbors in our community, and I think it is so inspiring. Thanks again to all of you who are with us. We'd like to update with Ty to hear about how the giving is going this evening. So Ty, if you could provide the update.
Perfect. So thank you, Diane. Of course, as you can see, that we are raising money currently. We have a goal of $300,000 that we would like to reach. We are super appreciative for everyone who has donated, but we have not reached our goal yet, so you still have time to donate. Remember to check the chat on our YouTube and in our Facebook to see what how we're going along with our donations and where and how to donate. Thank you.
Thank you, Ty. Remember to text Blue Dress to that number 844-998-3508. And thanks to all of you for joining us and for your generous donations. We'd now like to share with you a video that highlights our network of care and brings our founders to life. We hope you'll enjoy this very uplifting video.
At the core of St. Vincent de Paul, we've got founders that were courageous, compassionate individuals, women and men. And they didn't stop. You could not stop them. I mean, these folks were driven, loving people to life again.
Everyone is a son or daughter. Everyone is part of a family. So when you approach each individual, we call them neighbors. We look at them in the totality of who they are, the gifts that they bring to the table, and we listen.
Whenever I talk to folks, I volunteer. I work with St. Vincent de Paul, and they say, oh yeah, we know about St. Vincent de Paul. And I think we have a reputation, I mean, it's a very good reputation of trying to help people.
I think we all have in common that we believe in the idea of social justice, caring for each other, reaching out to help one another. And the biggest thing is that it's really rooted in relationships, a compassion for people who might be having a harder time than you're having, and wanting to have a relationship with those people in some way in which you can help them.
And so when I think of St. Vincent de Paul, it's really easy for me to move into that mind, kind of the mind of our founders, which was one of loving and courage and standing, with people.
I think it should be a movie someday, but I'm always thinking of Frederick Ozanam when he formed his little group and went through the city of Paris during, there was a pandemic then, it was cholera, yeah.
Sister Rosalie?
Frederick Ozanam, so lovely to see you.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. We must not wait until the next global pandemic to meet again.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And I must admit I am quite embarrassed.
What are you embarrassed about?
Our little organization has been here for 100 years and I'm just now getting to the Pacific Northwest.
I understand completely. I feel the same way. But you know what? A 100-year anniversary, what an excellent reason to celebrate.
You're right. You are always right.
I know.
And I hear there is quite a lot to be celebrating around here.
Oh, have you seen the map?
The map?
The map?
The map. These colors. And this is all in the name of St. Vincent.
It's beautiful, is it not?
Oh, I don't know what to say.
I know, there's so much going on, it's hard to know where to begin our little field trip.
Oh.
Come, Frederick, this way. Time to waste. Can't get better than a nice pair of leather shoes. They'll last you forever and ever and ever. It's so nice. Frederick, you're doing a great job, but speed it up a little bit. Perfect, it's a 15.
Beautiful.
Rosalie Rendu would say this: you need to take more risks. Rosalie, nothing held her back. She is about hunting down poverty. You can't hold compassion back or love back. You got to go love everybody.
So the network of care is sort of the scope of our work. There's many ways in which people come to us. We have a call center that responds to their needs by connecting them to volunteers that we have across 50 different neighborhoods all around King County. And these volunteers go into homes and they listen, and if they notice there's other challenges that they are not able to address, then they can make an internal referral to our case managers, who are professionals who can help our volunteers come up with new ways to address the need of our neighbors.
We're kind of the perfect organization for today because there is so much conflict even in our own country, and we try to help people regardless of their exact beliefs.
That's what we're doing well here at St. Vincent de Paul. We've got a number of programs like that. But I think what we do better than anybody is we listen deeply, reflectively, and then we build around them.
Once they reach St. Vincent de Paul, we're not gonna leave them to vent for themselves. They've landed in a place where we're gonna walk with them to self-sufficiency.
I think we're perfectly suited for going forward.
So yes, I think the programs very much do work, and as I say, part of it is adapting the mission as the world is changing around us, as it becomes more expensive to live, as jobs are not paying as well, as the citizenry is more diverse with more diverse needs. St. Vincent de Paul is adapting.
So our network of care just wraps around the individual. We don't just give them a phone number, we walk with them until they're able to stand on their own 2 feet. And that's what we call our network of care.
Oh, do you remember, Frederick, when you came to me 200 years ago with this little idea to start an organization in the name of St. Vincent?
How could I forget him and his little match?
Oh.
Just the flame of an idea.
And now look what it has become. Enormous.
Oh, raging.
A raging bonfire. This is good. It's good. Setting souls of people alight. Left, right, center.
And here, across an ocean.
Oui.
And then a continent.
Oui. Unbelievable.
So we're here today celebrating our Blue Dress event for 2021, and we really cannot do this work without your support.
We can't act like they aren't there. We can't pretend that there isn't tremendous inequality, that the economic policies of the last 40 years have not allowed a lot of people to thrive who should be thriving.
Your donations are going to go to a really good purpose, and these people are not just ordinary, they're special.
We really believe in this organization. We want to support it, and we want to do it together.
We're one organization that responds directly to the people in need. We go to them, we listen to them. The money that we receive goes directly back into the services that we give.
Our network of care needs each one of our donors to step up, to really be a shining light for others, and to join us in this mission of care and compassion. So whatever amount you can give is gonna help us. We ask you to give from your heart and trust that we are gonna be good stewards.
Hello. Well, thank you for staying with us. We're happy that we were able to show you the new video and have some fun. And thank you for your generous donations this evening. We received a $5,000 gift from Joe Gaffney just since we've been watching the video, and I know there are more donations out there. So thank you again so much. We're here with you this evening because we want St. Vincent de Paul to be here in this area for another 100 years with a very strong foundation and beyond. So thanks to all of you. A huge thank you to Michael B. Main for hosting us this evening in his studio, and especially for his support of St. Vincent de Paul and its work in the community. Thank you to Miria and Ty, and to all of the staff at St. Vincent de Paul for the work you do, to the board of directors and all of the Vincentians who work with those who are in need in our community. We're very inspired by all that you do, and I know that we will continue to give to support you. We are grateful to you, our donors, and our guests this evening. Grateful that you are with us, and we're grateful for your generous support. On behalf of St. Vincent de Paul, thanks to all of you, and we really look forward to seeing you next year, hopefully in person. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Volaron las amarillas, calandrias del nopal, ya no cantaban alegres los pájaros cardenales, a la tiranana, a la tiranana no, ya no cantaban alegres los pájaros cardenales, árboles de la ladera, ¿por qué no han reverdecido? Calandrias cantan, o les apachurra el nido, a la tiranana, a la tiranana no, calandrias cantan, o les apachurra el nido, eres chiquita y bonita, y así como eres te quiero, pareces una rosita de las costas de Guerrero, a la tiranana, a la tiranana no, pareces una rosita de las costas de Guerrero. En la medianía del mar suspiraba una ballena, lo decía el que en la seca la llena, a la tiranana, a la tiranana no, lo decía el que en la seca la llena, 4 por 5 son 20, 3 por 7 son 21, 4 por 5 son 20, 3 por 7 son 21, a la tiranana, a la tiranana no, en su despedida, pero como está ninguna, a la tiranana, a la tiranana.